If I can't help falling in love with you, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. So take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you.
Hi, and thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Kat, and I like to talk about true crime, conspiracies, and all sorts of related things. If you are new here, please make sure you hit the big red subscribe button below and also hit the notification bell so you are notified of any new videos I upload. For my returning subscribers and viewers, I would like to thank you all so much for the continuous support and for all those lovely messages I always read from you. This is what keeps me and my channel going. Thank you so much. And today I want to talk to you about a very recent case, the disappearance of Maya Millete, or as people also call her, Millete. Maya Millete, 39 years old, has been missing for over 4 months, and her loved ones are becoming frantic in the search for her as time continues to pass in her disappearance. The 39-year-old mother was last seen at her Chula Vista home in San Diego, California by family on Thursday, January the 7th, 2021 at around 5 p.m. She was last seen in her home, presumably by her husband, Larry Millette. He told the authorities he believed Maya took off to get some alone time. But her loved ones say this doesn't make sense at all for one very important reason. Her daughter's 11th birthday was just a few days after Maya went missing. Maricris Drouaillet, the oldest of Maya's siblings, said their large family were planning to take a trip up to the mountains to go snowboarding for Maya's daughter's 11th birthday before Maya disappeared. I do not mean to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about in today's video. The video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The information I collect is from the internet. I compile this information, make a video, and from this you guys are more than welcome to draw your own conclusions. Thank you. Maya would have sent a message to their group chat if the trip would be cancelled or changed. She wouldn't be the kind of person or mother to just not show up, especially since she was the one who organized the trip. Maya worked in early 2020 as a civilian contract specialist for the Navy's Southwest Regional Maintenance Center. In June of 2020, she transferred to the Naval Information Warfare Center, where she also worked as a contract specialist. Maya, who has been missing since January, had been arguing with her husband during a family trip camping in the desert just days before her disappearance. Maricris Drouaillet, Maya's sister, and her husband Richard said that Larry and Maya were arguing over a Jeep Wrangler they brought with them on the family camping trip to the glammy sand dunes in California over the New Year holiday. For a year or two, Maya and Larry had a rocky relationship. They even tried marriage counseling. Whenever the family would have a get-together, Larry and Maya would be there arguing. And then another time they would be close again. It's been on and off with the couple for the last year or so. Maricris' husband, Richard, said they argued a lot and he was a little bit uncomfortable. It was weird because Larry was acting different. He wasn't acting like Larry, he was acting different. They were done. The relationship was done. You could just tell. Richard describes Larry as always quiet on the trips, typically staying near the camp or with his car in his own business. He was always quiet, but on this last trip he was having fun. And he was having a lot of fun, but with her vehicle, Richard stated. During the day, he wasn't really at the camp. He was always driving around, and then he would come back and ask her a question, and then they would argue. Not argue in front of the family, but you could tell that there was no communication between them. No positive communication between them. She was having a good time, but I know that in the back of her mind she just wanted her Jeep. She was becoming a different person and starting a new chapter, Richard said of Maya. Larry was having more fun with the Jeep Wrangler than Maya did, considering this was her car, which her mother bought for her. He wanted to take the Jeep and drive it, and Maya wanted the same thing. So arguments would start over that. They didn't even want to ride together. To Richard and Maricris, it seemed clear Maya just wanted to get out of the relationship. Maricris and Richard expressed their grief over Maya's disappearance and the lack of time they had with the couple's children, their nieces and nephew. Since retaining a lawyer, this is very interesting. Since retaining a lawyer, Larry has only let Maricris and members of her family see the 3 children once. Larry hasn't been responding to text messages or answering any phone calls from Maya's family. So Maya's family got worried. Maricris and her sister-in-law went to check on the kids to make sure they were okay. It was awkward and it was weird, Maricris said. The kids, they were very distant. They used to be excited to see us, especially the young one, her 4-year-old. He would be excited and give me a hug and come running to me to give me a hug. We were calling each other our BFFs. But this time they just kind of looked and didn't give me a hug. Larry's family hasn't assisted them much in the search for Maya. Maricris and her husband struggle with finding words to describe how the disappearance has impacted them. The family has launched a GoFundMe to help raise money for the search. I will leave the link to the GoFundMe in the description below. Richard said, "We are all sad and just want our sister back, to find her and bring her home. Every day that goes by just breaks us down a little bit more." Maya Millete was last seen at her Chula Vista home by family on January the 7th at around 5 p.m. Police were called to her family's Paseo Los Gatos home on January the 10th and informed that Maya was missing. They had been investigating her disappearance ever since. The police said that all of Maya's vehicles were at the home, but the last time she responded to a text was on January the 7th. Authorities served a search warrant to the address on January the 23rd, hoping to get insight as to Maya's whereabouts. Maya Millete is described as being 5 feet 2 and 105 lbs with brown hair. She has tattoos of musical notes and hummingbird. Her family has launched a number of pages dedicated to finding the mother of 3, originally from the Philippines. They've also sent flyers around the local community in hopes they will get some information as to her whereabouts. The family shared that it was highly unusual that Maya would miss her daughter's upcoming 11th birthday. Maricris Drouaillet, Maya's older sister, was shocked to learn that Larry retained a lawyer and was no longer cooperating with the police investigation. Larry is even reported as having turned off his cell phone during the search for Maya. On the evening of January 14, 2021, family and friends of Maya Millete gathered for a vigil at Mount San Miguel Park, near the home of the missing Chula Vista mother. Maya Millete had been missing exactly 1 week when the vigil was held. The community showed up to offer support. The missing woman's sister and brother-in-law, Maricris and Richard Drouaillet, also attended the candlelight event. Larry Millette was a no-show. However, he dropped off his oldest daughter. CBS News 8 reporter Abby Alford was covering the vigil for the 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. newscasts. She wanted to interview Larry, Maya's husband, who was nowhere to be found. So, Abby Alford called Larry Millette on his cell phone. It took some convincing. He almost didn't talk. Finally, he agreed to a brief interview. Abby Alford recorded it on her cell phone in the back of the car in the parking lot near the vigil. Her raw interview with Larry Millette stayed on her cell phone as an MP3 file for the next 3 months. Now, let's listen to it.
Larry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you there? So first, when it's recording, do I have your permission to record this conversation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I mean, just like how we were talking, Larry, I think the last time you saw her was like last Thursday, I think?
Visually, but she was in the house Friday.
Oh, okay, so it was Friday. I mean, kind of just, it's been almost a week now, and you haven't seen from her, you haven't seen her or heard from her. You have 3 kids with her. I mean, this isn't like her.
No, not this long. That's the concerning and alarming part is she wouldn't be gone this long.
And, what you guys were married 21 years?
It'll be 21 years, May 21st of this year. So 20 years, it'll be 21 this year.
Wow. What do you love about Maya?
Oh, I love everything about her. She's very smart, kind, basically just herself, her personality, her smell, just everything.
And probably her love for life. She loved to hike, right?
Oh, yeah. She, just her outgoing personality.
And probably a great mom.
Oh, yes. Yes, she is.
So, I mean, what do you think happened? I mean, there's no reason that you can think of, why she wouldn't be here for her kids. She wouldn't miss her daughter's birthday.
I don't want to speculate. There's a lot of speculations, and people kind of like throw these speculations out. But right now, I just want to focus on how to get her back home safe and sound, and that's it.
And then have police given any indication at all about where she is?
No, right now, but they, I have full confidence in, like I said, the CVPD and the Navy, because they put maximum resources on our case. So, this is what they do. This is what they do best. I'm pretty sure that, they're going to do their job, and that's why I'm really hopeful and confident that, things will work out.
How are your kids taking it?
That's my main focus for now. That's why I'm very thankful for my sister-in-law, Maricris, because she's handling all this media attention. She's actually doing everything that I should be doing, out there. But at the same time, I'm just making sure, it's as normal, like a normal day for them. They do their school. Their main routine is just kept. And I've been doing this for a while since she's been missing, and they're still happy-go-lucky most of the time. I know they sense something is wrong, but I minimize that. They don't really understand the gravity of it, but I know my 2 oldest, kind of like sees it. But I try to minimize the impact that it has on them. But although even though I'm trying to do that, I notice, there's, they know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because they were down here at the vigil, weren't they?
Yes. I had my oldest down there for a little bit, and then my second youngest had tutoring, so I had to get her to come in, and then they had piano today, which they missed because I allowed them to go to the park. So I was like, wow. And when I got to see a little bit of it, I was just overwhelmed and thankful for all the support. I was like, this is, for my wife Maya, and it's, strangers, but, most of the time on TV, you see all the bad parts, but you don't see all the good parts where, there's still good people out there, and they really do care.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like, you said you didn't come just because you had to, was it just like for privacy reasons or?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, just, again, I'm not like that person to like basically, go out there, but, I don't know, I just want to make sure it's focused on my wife, finding my wife, nothing else. And, I just don't want any distractions from that.
Okay. Well, Larry, thank you so much. And like I said, I'm hoping, with this story, hopefully it can be out every day. And
yes, ma'am.
Individual, just to continue, to see if there's any kind of sightings. Because, police say that there's been, like, no digital footprint of her at all, which is really odd. Police just say that there's no crime at all. But it's like, where the heck is she?
Yeah. And, this is the disheartening part. The disheartening part is, it's been really a really long time, and this is this is the, I don't know what to think about that. It's just surreal, basically. That you see this stuff on the news, but you don't know how it is until it happens to you. So
do you think people are unfairly, questioning you or suspecting you?
No, I mean, they got to do their job. I understand. So, whatever it takes, they have to, look at any lead or, basically they just got to cover all the protocols and steps. So, it's part of the job, I guess.
What about the public that don't even know you, that think that?
Yeah, that's the thing about the media part, it's upsetting sometimes that, people, make implications, and it's, without even asking, like domestic violence. I'm like, really? Like, her brothers are here, her three brothers, and they know our relationship. I've always been open to the family about our relationship, and they know I've never touched a sister. So they're like, yeah, the media is, sometimes they don't get their story straight before putting it out there, or it's just maybe, unresponsible journalist or whatever. But we get it. I mean, whatever makes the biggest impact to get the story or get the viewers' attention. So, again, it's a double-edged sword. You get the viewers' attention, you get their interest, and, you get the story out. They're like, oh, I'm interested. Now they're following it, And I'm thankful for that, because whatever promotes helping find my wife, Maya, whatever it takes, basically. So, like my sister-in-law said, she doesn't care what it takes, just as long as she comes home safe, and I agree. And so, you know what, you just do what you got to do, and even though, some of it's not all good, whatever, like I said, whatever it takes to bring her home, it's you do what you got to do. And Maricris, she's really, really doing it. Like, she's out there, talking to all the media, getting it promoted. So, hopefully we get some kind of tip or help and, get her back home.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Larry. I appreciate talking to you, and thank you for talking to me about her. And like I said, I hope we can just keep this story out here.
Okay. Thank you, Abby.
Hopefully.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Larry, and try to get some rest if you can.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
All right. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Maya Millette remains missing, but a lot has changed since her husband spoke to Abby Alford on January 14th. Evidence in the investigation has been leaked, including surveillance audio. Search warrants have been issued, including at least one served on Maya Millette's house on Paseo Los Gatos in Chula Vista. The 8 loud bangs recorded in Maya Millette's neighborhood on the night she went missing have been identified as gunshots by a forensic audio expert. Let's hear what Brian Neumeister, CEO of USA Forensic LLC in Phoenix, Arizona, had to say about the audio recorded.
It's just going to be a matter of plodding through it. It is not like you'd see on TV where somebody pushes a button and it just happens. It's manually going through it bit by bit.
Brian Neumeister is CEO of USA Forensic in Phoenix, Arizona.
They are gunshots. I don't have a question about that. They do sound like they're indoors. At least the first few of them. I haven't analyzed them completely, but it definitely sounds like it's inside a house.
The audio expert received the recording over the weekend from an attorney working with the family of Maya Millete.
Just having done some of the gunshots, the way it peaks so quickly, and just the sound of a gun after doing 41 years of this, it's fairly easy to recognize.
It's going to take about a week for Neumeister to fully clean up the audio.
I'm going to be able to clarify, get rid of all the background noise, that sort of thing, and clarify what is there. If there's somebody like a human voice, I'll be able to spot that quite easily. Even if it's buried, I'll be able to bring it out.
A neighbor who wanted to remain anonymous initially allowed the reporter to record the surveillance audio with a cell phone. News 8 released that audio on April the 8th, and the recording included 6 of the initial shots. The neighbor then released a clean digital copy of the audio on April the 17th. The digital copy was longer in length and included gunshot sounds for a total of 8 shots. The new recording captured a cluster of 5 shots, followed by a 6th about 10 seconds later. Shot number 7 rings out after a 34-second gap, followed by shot 8 23 seconds later. All 8 shots are heard over a period lasting 79 seconds. Okay guys, let's think. Okay guys, let's think here for a second about these gunshots and the sequence of them. Carla, you want some? There you go. Okay. So, if you think about the distance between the shots, let's just imagine for a moment, right? The first 5 shots perhaps were fired so quick, one after the other, because the aim was just not there. The shooter doesn't have experience, right? Perhaps he never used a gun before. Maybe out of anger the target was missed and the shooter tried again. It's possible that the 5th shot hit the victim but not fatally. The shooter then realizes the victim is not fatally wounded. So after 10 seconds he shoots again. The victim is hit again but tries to escape, right? He follows her and 34 seconds later shoots again. The next shot, 23 seconds later, leads to the death of the victim. The firing stops. According to a few sources, Maya Millette's husband suspected her of having a boyfriend, and that's where the accusations against Larry Millette take an even darker turn. The witness who heard the conversations firsthand told Fox News exclusively that Larry Millette frequently discussed paying someone $20,000 to kill his missing wife's alleged boyfriend. Larry Millette seemed pretty serious about the alleged murder-for-hire plot. It seems he started thinking about the plan last summer when he first suspected his wife was seeing someone else, but mentioned it as recently as January the 4th, just a few days before Maya went missing. One of Maya Millette's family members said Larry Millette made threatening comments about the alleged boyfriend last summer, saying he wanted to do something to that fool. Despite the threats against Maya Millette's alleged boyfriend, the witness said he never feared for Maya's safety. But Maya told family members on a camping trip just days before she went missing, "If anything happened to me, it would be Larry." A Chula Vista Police Department spokesperson said they are aware of the alleged murder-for-hire plot and are investigating it along with other leads in the case. Larry and Maya Millette had marriage problems for at least 1 year before her disappearance on January the 7th, which is the same day that she scheduled an appointment with a divorce lawyer for the following week. She was reported missing 2 days later. Larry Millette also apparently sent Maya's family strange text messages throughout 2020. In September, he sent a picture that appears to show an altar with a couple covered in blood splatter and surrounded by candles. On April the 12th, Maya's sister and brother-in-law appeared on Dr. Phil. The national exposure resulted in more details coming out about the case. Maricris Drouaillet confirmed Larry is no longer giving her side of the family access to Maya's 3 children. "It angers me because it's not May. She wouldn't leave her family. She wouldn't just get up and go without notifying somebody that she's going to go somewhere. Somebody did this to her. Somebody did this to May. Somebody made her disappear," said Maya's brother-in-law Richard Drouaillet during the TV program. Billy Little, an attorney working with Maya's family, told Dr. Phil about other surveillance video recorded that night and the next morning. "There's some surveillance video of him, Larry, backing her SUV in the garage. He backs in and pulls out of the garage," Billy Little told Dr. Phil. On the following night, January the 8th, one of Maya's brothers went by the house to look for his sister. He went after work on Friday to check on her, and he was told that she was upstairs in her bedroom. When the brother knocked on the bedroom door, no one answered, and the door was locked. Larry said to Jay that they had a huge argument the night before. On that Friday night, the brother noticed a hole in the bedroom door that had been patched over. Billy Little noticed the same hole in a door when he conducted a walkthrough of the house 3 days later. "It was right next to the door handle. I asked Larry about it. He said Maya had punched a hole in that door," said Billy Little. Larry Millette was invited to appear on Dr. Phil, but he declined. He has not been named a person of interest or a suspect in the disappearance of his wife. There are new developments in the case of Maya Millette. Investigators seized guns and other evidence from the home of Maya's husband's aunt and uncle. The Encanto home in the 7100 block of Maricris Drive is within San Diego city limits. On April the 1st, Chula Vista police showed up to serve a search warrant, seizing about a half-dozen long rifles and boxes of evidence, according to neighbors who recorded video of the police activity. The video showed both marked and unmarked police vehicles parked in the street and investigators putting evidence into a van. Neighbors said officers were on scene for a couple of hours in the middle of the day. Property records show the house is owned by Ricky Lincoln, 66-year-old, better known as Uncle Ricky, to Larry Millette. Larry's aunt, Katie Lincoln, also lives in the house, according to Billy Little, the attorney working with Maya's family. Chula Vista police confirmed that officers served a search warrant on April the 1st at the house, but the agency did not release any details about evidence taken or how it relates to the investigation. Ricky and Katie Lincoln have not been named by CVPD as suspects in the case. No one has been arrested. Investigators have said they are reviewing surveillance video from the Chula Vista neighborhood near Paseo Los Gatos, where Larry and Maya Millette lived with their 3 children, aged 4, 9, and 11. According to the divorce lawyer, Maya wanted to have the birthday celebration first. Her daughter's birthday celebration was on Sunday, so she wanted to wait. But Maya disappeared and stopped responding to texts that day while planning for her eldest child's 11th birthday. Maricris also said her sister asked her for $10,000 that same week. Maya's identification, credit card, and phone are missing. However, her credit card has not been used since her disappearance, and all calls to her phone have gone straight to voicemail. Maricris Drouaillet and her husband Richard have expressed concern that police haven't been doing enough. It doesn't add up. They have camera surveillance from all the neighbors. They said they have over 100 hours to review, and 3 months later, you're still looking at those 100 hours reviewing those videos. Something's got to give, Richard said. On 21st of April, it was reported that 4 law enforcement agencies are part of a new working group formed to investigate the case of missing Maya Millette. Chula Vista police are now working with the FBI, the San Diego County DA's office, and the Naval Criminal Investigation Service. CVPD also confirmed that detectives are aware of 8 loud bangs recorded in the neighborhood on January the 7th, the night Maya went missing. Chula Vista Police Department did not receive any report of gunshots during the night in question, and these bangs were discovered by investigators early on in the investigation. Officers now have served 16 search warrants in the case, including one on April the 1st at the Encanto home of Larry Millette's aunt and uncle, Ricky and Katie Lincoln. Another search warrant was served on January the 23rd at the Millette house on Paseo Los Gatos in Chula Vista, more than 2 weeks after Maya went missing. Officers seized the family's black Lexus SUV with a personalized license plate that reads Millete.
One of the neighbors' surveillance videos show Maya leaving the house. So, Billy, tell us about that. How much of this coverage were you able to see, and nobody saw her leave the house?
No, there's some surveillance video of him backing her SUV in the garage. He backs in and pulls out of the garage. Never seeing him get in or out of it. There's some other surveillance video which I've seen clips of, but I haven't seen the whole video, that shows him coming and going at, I believe, odd hours of that night. May's cell phone had not been found. The tracking device in the Lexus has either been disabled or didn't work. I believe the police have the SUV in custody. So
he backs in, pulls out, but none of the cameras show May leaving the house. Billy says Larry told him he's been shooting the past several days and possibly would have gun residue on his hands. What the hell is he talking about now? What's he saying?
So before I went in the house, I had spoken with a few witnesses, so I knew that he was looking for gun cleaning equipment. So I went in under one of the assumptions that he had shot her. But I went in, when I was looking around, I was looking for something that looked like a crime scene that involved a gunshot. In fact, I didn't see any blood. I didn't see any freshly repaired paint on the walls, the sheets, the carpet. None of that looked like it had been steam cleaned, which is something people do when they get blood on the carpet. So although he did say that he had been shooting, when I tested that, I said, hey, Larry, if you've been shooting, the police can find gunshot residue. He said, oh, yeah, I've been shooting over the last few days. They're going to have gunshot residue on my hand. So that was suspicious. And I said, well, don't try to clean up. He goes, well, I did try to contact somebody to clean the gun. And I was like, well, don't clean stuff because that's going to make you look suspicious. Trying to preserve as much evidence as I could.
Larry's not here to defend himself, although he was invited. We asked him to come here and speak on his behalf. He told a local news station that my wife is a good woman, she is missing, and everything else is just noise. Again, we reached out to Larry, and he stated that he would prefer not to comment at this time, which is certainly his right and privilege to speak or not speak. And as of this date and time, the police have not named him as a person of interest or a suspect. He's not been charged, he's not been indicted, and there's an ongoing investigation. We're just reporting what has been gathered at this point. An anonymous family member says Maya told them, if something happens to me, it's my husband.
Larry Millette told family members he was driving the Lexus all day on Friday, January the 8th. He also told officers he drove his 4-year-old son to the beach in the Lexus on that Friday. Maya's family members tried unsuccessfully that day to reach him on his cell phone. Maricris said Larry and his son left at 6:30 a.m. to go to Solana Beach, and they didn't come back until about 5 p.m. On Sunday, January the 10th, one of Maya's brothers noticed the air in the tires on the Lexus appeared to be low. Billy Little Jr., the lawyer working with Maya's family, conducted a walkthrough at the Millette's house. On January the 11th, he knocked on the door of the Millette home in the 2400 block of Paseo Los Gatos in Chula Vista, 4 days after Maya went missing. Her husband, Larry Millette, opened the door and let him in after Billy Little showed him his identification. According to Billy Little, he immediately noticed the windows were all open, the fans were on full blast. It was chilly in the house, and at that point he was mostly seeing if he could smell anything, smell any bleach, or smell the smell of a dead body, but there was no smell. Maya Millette argued with her husband on Thursday, January the 7th. She spoke with friends in a video call at around 5:30 p.m. and that was the last time anyone has heard from her. When Billy Little went to the bedroom, he immediately noticed a hole, probably 10 inches long by about 6 to 8 inches tall, rectangular shaped. That was freshly repaired. It was right by the handle. There was a lock on the inside of the door. He mentioned if, for example, the door is locked and you want to break in the door or get through the door, you could punch through that hole, reach through the other side, and unlock the door from the other side. Inside the garage, Billy Little also discovered that a freezer was missing. He then called Chula Vista police saying it's missing. The police didn't take any action, so he found the freezer himself at one of Larry's relatives' home. The relative claimed he had planned on picking up the freezer for some time. For months, Billy Little said he has been collecting evidence in the case, including hundreds of text messages sent in 2020 by Maya's husband to friends and family. He started by complaining to family members. He started by accusing his wife, May, of having an affair, going to her supervisor insisting that male co-workers be moved with absolutely no evidence there was an affair going on, Little said. Some of the text messages included photos. Other messages contained biblical quotes about adulterous women, like one from June the 28th that read in part, "Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave." The text messages that Larry sent numbered sometimes in the hundreds per day. It started ramping up as 2020 went on, and as May started moving more and more towards a divorce. He became more and more desperate. The day Maya scheduled an appointment with a divorce attorney is the last day anybody saw her. She filled out the intake form. On the Thursday she went missing, the appointment was scheduled for the next Tuesday, but she never made it to that appointment. Chula Vista police will not talk about evidence in the case, but Captain Eric Thunberg with the investigations unit confirmed detectives have been in contact with Billy Little. News 8 reached out to the husband Larry Millette, and he texted the following messages regarding Billy Little's walkthrough of his house on January 11th and other claims made by Billy Little. Quote, "He lied and presented himself as NCIS to gain access into my home. He misrepresented himself to gain access to my family's home as well, claiming to be NCIS. He lies and misrepresents himself, posing to be law enforcement. Also, I am not quite sure if impersonating NCIS is a crime, but it should be." End of quote. CVPD said there has been no change in the status of the case, meaning it remains a missing persons case. Larry Millette has not publicly been named a suspect by CVPD. If you have any information about the case, please contact the Chula Vista Police Department. Right, having reached the end of the video, I will tell you my opinions and my theories on the case. Are you ready, Carla? Are you ready? Okay. I am honestly starting to paint a picture of what I believe happened. Let's talk about what I think happened. But please bear in mind that this is just my opinion. Maya and Larry's marriage is breaking apart. It's possible Maya keeps hinting to her husband she wants a divorce because it's just not working anymore. This could be why Larry insisted she was cheating on him. He becomes paranoid, obsessed, possessive with Maya, and jealous. Extremely jealous. He starts imagining things that are just not there. This can explain why he even contacted Maya's workplace to ask all male workers be moved from there. He builds on his paranoia that she's cheating on him because he can't come to terms with the idea that their marriage is simply just not working anymore. Because it's just not working, right? So he makes himself believe their marriage is not working because Maya met someone else. That would explain all the text messages and photos he sent throughout 2020 to Maya's family. He wanted to make sure her family understands it's not his fault their marriage is not working anymore, but Maya's fault having met someone else. He is desperate and he doesn't know what else to do, so Maya doesn't leave him. He becomes a completely different person. As the months go by, their relationship deteriorates more and more. Larry becomes more and more obsessed. He finds out Maya is going through with the divorce. For him, this starts hitting home. This is happening. His nightmare is turning into reality. His paranoia reaches the extreme and forms a reality. Maya goes through with the divorce because she has someone else. This is what I believe is going through his head. Only hearing about the appointment being booked or Maya saying it was enough to set him off and for hell to break loose. I think that they have an argument, it escalates, Maya is scared of him, locks herself in the bedroom, he wants to get in but doesn't want to scare the kids by kicking the door open, so he makes a hole in the door to reach the handle on the inside. He must have had a gun there somehow, borrowed or maybe taken from somewhere. I mean, this guy right now is angry. He's raging, right? He can't control himself anymore at this point. So he grabs his gun and starts shooting in a frenzy. 8 gunshots. And maybe only one killed Maya. Was it a struggle for the gun? I'm not quite sure. I do believe, however, that only the last shot was fatal. That's how he stopped. So now, having done what he did, in my opinion, he only just realizes what happened. So he starts panicking. What can he do? He's not the type to actually kill somebody, but this just happened. He doesn't want the kids to see their mom like that, so he takes her body and puts it in the trunk of the Lexus SUV overnight. Larry can't leave his 4-year-old home alone, so he takes him in the Lexus and they drive to Solana Beach. Maya is in the trunk, the 4-year-old doesn't see her. It's possible by the time they get to the beach, the boy is either asleep from the ride or he's still sleeping. and that's when Larry disposes of Maya's body, somewhere in that area. It was early in the morning, so there wouldn't be so many people in the area. What bothers me, however, is why would they spend most of the day there? I get it's California, right? But still, it was like 10-15 degrees Celsius in January. You wouldn't have sun and fun a whole day in that month. I think that he cleaned the house after. That's why all the windows were wide open when Billy did the walkthrough of the house. It's been already 4 days. In that time, any smell of bleach or cleaning product would go away with constant airing of the house. The only thing I can't quite figure out is, where were the kids when it happened? If there were gunshots, didn't they hear them? Or were they too scared to check what's happening? Were they already used with the constant arguing and maybe just cover their ears so they don't hear a sound? Then, on the Friday, when Larry said he went to the beach, where were the other 2 kids, the 9 and 11 year? They were left home alone to get ready and go to school and then return from school? As far as I am aware, schools were open in January, or am I missing something here? Then this could also explain, look, this could also explain why the kids, they've been acting really distant with Maricris when she went visiting. It is possible that they heard these gunshots. They are not saying anything to anybody as far as we know, but they are very scared. And maybe they are thinking that perhaps if they say something to somebody, the same thing would happen to them as with their mom. Probably they are not aware these were gunshots, if they were, but they know that something bad really happened in their house. Maybe, yes, there must have been noise before when they had arguments, but maybe not as much as it was now and not as loud as it was now. Maybe they were even too scared to get out of their rooms to see what happened. And maybe they are thinking, if I say something to somebody, the same thing will happen to me. And this can explain why they have been acting so distantly with Maricris, with Maya's side of the family, because of this. It's also possible that somehow Larry, to stop them from talking, they said, look, if you say something to Maya's family, if you say something to Maricris, your aunt, or I don't know who, the same thing will happen to you as it happened when you heard it. But honestly, I'm not so clear on this, because to me, Larry doesn't seem the type of person to have, I don't know how to explain it. He wouldn't have planned to kill his wife. This was done in the rage of the moment. Something triggered him off, which I assume it was the fact that Maya already filled in the form to see the divorce attorney, and this is what set him off. Even then, in that moment, I don't think that he planned to kill Maya. I think it just happened without him even realizing. I'm trying to compare him with Chris Watts here, and yeah, with Chris Watts, but it's hardly a comparison with Chris Watts, because Chris Watts killed his whole family, right? But he is not the type of person who would go and kill his kids. So there must be something that happened, or the kids were somehow somewhere in that house, or sleeping, or something like that, that they didn't hear or they didn't see anything. So they are not witnesses. But I do believe that somehow he scared them off from talking of anything that happened in that house. Anyway, these are my theories, my own theories. This is just my opinion after checking everything that there is public out there on the case. Please let me know, guys, what you think in the comments below. What do you believe happened with Maya Millette? For now, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and take care. Bye bye.